Shustak, as you know from the years that we've known each other. Shustak Reynolds Partners is our firm. We were one of the early members, U.S. members of IR Global, and it's been a wonderful experience for us. I think that we joined in 2012 or 2013, and I think I went to my first event in 2013, not really knowing what to expect, and have met over the years some really wonderful, very talented people that has given us the ability to offer our clients a worldwide presence, which has been very helpful. Sometimes clients will call up out of the blue and say, do you have anybody, we have a problem in South America or in Brazil or in Switzerland, and the first thing we do is look to our roster of IR Global members. Either it's someone I know personally, which always is very important and very helpful. If not, I just reach out to the IR member global in that jurisdiction, and we have a connection, and they're usually very responsive, and it's really helped our firm give a much more worldwide presence and capability to our clients, which has been very well received over the years. Our firm originally was started 45 years ago by myself in New York City. We always did work for the financial industry, meaning institutions, hedge funds, broker-dealers, investment advisory firms, that kind of world, securities and finance. When we shifted more of the firm to California and we brought that expertise with us, we were able to fill a niche that very few, particularly small or medium-sized firms in San Diego and in California had the capability to handle. So our clients range from institutions, brokerage firms, and money managers, to defrauded investors who have been hurt by people in that industry, which is kind of rife in that industry, whether it's good times or bad times. Complex litigation, complex transactions. We do a lot of work involving fiduciary duty cases of public companies on both sides, defending them, prosecuting the cases. One of my partners does a lot of work in Delaware, in the federal and state courts. And we have cases throughout the country, arbitrations through all the arbitration forums, federal and state courts throughout the country. And one of the real benefits domestically for us with IR Global is the fact that we have cases all over the country, particularly if they're in federal court, which we do a lot of. We have the ability to call up another IR Global member. We need local counsel, whether it's Gary Davidson in Florida, who we've used many times. There's one of the members in Utah. We have him involved, I think, in 12 or 13 cases for one of our brokerage firm clients. And it really is very helpful to pick up the phone, call someone you know, and say, we need help again, or help for the first time. And that has given us a lot of, we generate a lot of outbound work throughout the United States. Same thing overseas, whether we had a case in one of the foreign jurisdictions, that we're familiar with the process and the arbitration, but we needed somebody, local boots on the ground, so to speak. And that was also very helpful. I called up, I think, Klaus Oberlin, one of the other members, and I don't have to introduce myself, or we don't have to get to know each other. Same thing with John Wolf's. We've done business together, and a lot of the other members. And I think it gives people, there's an immediate comfort level that, well, we didn't call this person out of a phone book or find them on the internet. This is a member of our organization. And I think clients have a great deal of comfort level, as we do ourselves. We know that they are quality people and that they'll be responsive to us and our clients as well. We have four offices in California and one in New York. What's changed, and it's kind of interesting, it's one of the consequences, but probably a positive consequence of COVID. There were times we'd have a lot of cases in New York, and the judge would call up or notify us and say, I want somebody to be here for a conference. And if we didn't have the right person in the New York office, either I or one of the other lawyers in our firm would have to get on a plane, fly to New York, show up for typically something that would be a 10 or 12-minute initial meeting, get back on a plane, fly back home. So a lot of our work, we don't really need these fully staffed offices that we used to have. Everything is now, and I think judges appreciate it, lawyers appreciate it, whether it's a deposition. We've done many dozens of arbitration hearings virtually, mediations all the time. They're much more productive, in fact, not being there in the same place. And that's been really, for us, a very positive consequence of COVID. A lot less wear and tear and travel, and a lot less expense for the clients at the same time. In the last few months, for example, outbound, we've had probably 5 or 6 cases where we needed lawyers in the U.S. and other jurisdictions. And when the people in the firm come to me and say, who should we use? Who do you know? I'm able to look at the list, and having been a member for a number of years and getting to know so many people, I'm able to look at the list and say, call this one up, or call this one up. He's an expert or she's an expert in this area, but see if he or she has a partner. And so in the last year alone, that's probably been 6, 7, 8 outbound calls. Inbound, again, a US example, I went to a West Coast conference in March in the Napa-Sonoma area. And one of the members up there, we spent some time together. We didn't really know each other that well until the few days that I spent with them. He had a week after I came back, he had a client in Southern California that had a litigation matter that was more up our alley. Needed help right away, called me up. I said, happy to do it. Spoke to the client that weekend. I think he called on a Friday, worked over the weekend, which is very normal for me and our firm to do, and took care of the problem immediately. No introductions needed, no, who are you, things like that. So that has been very helpful. And the same thing happens overseas. We have clients that we've gotten inbound referrals from Singapore and other jurisdictions. It might be one of their clients has gotten an arbitration award or a judgment against a local company or individual that happens to have assets or resides in California, and they call and they have questions. How does it work? How long will it take? How much does it cost? Unfortunately, in the US, things take longer than expected, things cost more than expected, but I'm able to give them that advice very quickly. They then can speak to the client, and we were able to give them the advice they needed to allow the client to make the right decision of what they want to do on a cost-benefit analysis. Coming to San Diego, which I won't have to worry about hosting a party and not showing up for my own party, I'll be in San Diego. Very excited to have the San Diego event. We hosted a West Coast San Diego event just before COVID 3 years ago that I think was very successful. And I think that then prompted other members of the West Coast, Western region, US to have the ones like we just had in Sonoma, Napa, which was very, very well received. So I'm excited about everybody coming to San Diego, and of course I just met with Lorna and gave her some suggestions of places we've had parties and events and dinners. I love Barcelona. I've been here a few times. It's a great city. Nothing to say about London, but I was very glad when IR Global expanded its reach of where they had them. The events in Amsterdam have been wonderful. Barcelona is a great venue. This happens to be, I don't know if people realize that I think it's Restaurant Week in Barcelona. So I've been booking restaurant meals and they have discounts on the Fork. I have no ownership interest in the Fork app, but I highly recommend it. Great food city. Going to see the Sagrada Familia. The one thing I have not yet to see in Barcelona that I do want to see, and My wife will join me, and I love Gaudi, I love architecture. So just a great city, and actually a great location. On the waterfront, the views are wonderful. So it's exciting to come to a different venue like this. So well done, great venue, and I'm looking forward to a great couple of days here.